Why, hello there, one and all. Once again, thank you so much for joining me here on Another Eden Live. I am Scott, your community manager for Another Eden, the cat beyond time and space. Welcome, everyone. Hello. Over there, way over there in chat. Or up there, I guess. Hold on, is my eye line? Right up there. Can you hear me loud and clear? Can you hear the music loud and clear? We have a special guest today, and so I've set up the technical thing so we can all hear each other well a little bit differently today. I hope everything sounds normal to you. It sounds a little different on my end. How are you? Claire, you can hear it? Thank you so much. As we have just put up in the chat, as always these days, we are streaming simultaneously with our colleagues for the Japan version of the game. If you're the kind of person that likes to watch them both at the same time, well, you have better powers of hearing and, more importantly, listening than I do. But secondly, if you do get information from that stream before you get it from this stream, please do your best to hold that information to yourself and not to spoil anybody here. That said, we will be doing our best all throughout, as normal, to try to release all of the information that you want to know, at least at the same time as they do. So there should be no reason to divide your attention, let's say. Who all is here today? We have Tariq, some familiar names: Tariq, Rise, Melody, Pexe. How do we do that? Wiccan, Losers, everybody, a lot of the usual. Some that Jack Frost, some that I may have not seen before. Welcome, anybody. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for being here. We like to talk about new updates coming to the game, what new characters you might see. See if we can, every once in a while, like today, give you a behind-the-scenes look at some aspects of the game, and even enjoy the company of a special guest every once in a while, which I'm happy to say. We're going to have a special guest today to talk to us a little bit about the game. We'll go over new updates, new character info. We'll go a little bit behind the scenes of the localization of the Eastern mythos, because there are some very unique aspects to the language in particular. It's a very old style of speaking that some of those characters are using in that chapter. So we'll dive a little bit into that. Any grand theories? Well, before we get into that, we're going to today we're going to talk about version 3.9.1 update information. And to kick us off, I have a video for you of that new character. So whatever your theories were, we'll see if you're right.
Follow your instincts. Tear asunder! Sever! Leave it to Sesta. Sesta will not let you dirty her world. Sever! Another Eden, the cat beyond time and space.
That's right, the goodest girl, Sesta, guardian wolf in a sunlit garden, is getting another style. A new style is coming. Sesta, another style voiced by Jodie Steele. What do you think of the look? What do you think of the new look? Her ability, the twin blade ability, is getting a sequel. More on that in a moment. But before we get to the crunchy bits, let's get a comment from the creator, from the art team member Yamazaki, who says, Sesta has a new outfit and she's hard at work. I approach this from the perspective of what Sesta would consider a uniform. The idea of adding wolf ears and a tail was suggested, but in the end we went with motifs that call back to Nona and an asymmetrical silhouette. It's a uniform that still feels very much like Sesta, I think. Her battle animations are fairly detailed and very cute. I hope you'll have a good look at them. She'll work hard for you if you give her the chance. So, with that, we will go into Backy's Battle Tips, everybody's favorite crunchy meta segment. Backy's recommendations for Sesta, the way he's going to break this down for you. Sesta's core skill, Twin Blade Wolf, is back as Twin Blade Wolf 2. No, not that. Some skills and use conditions have changed, so be mindful. Normal attack variation, Twin Blade Wolf 2. And we've got a whole spreadsheet that I'll allow you to take a screenshot of. So if you're the kind of person that likes to take screenshots of things, the next slide is a pretty good one to take. That'll show you the differences between Twin Blade Wolf 1 and Twin Blade Wolf 2. Get into that in just a second. Twin Blade Wolf 2, consume 1 Wolf Heart and activate Wolf's Awakening, Fajin Slash, Crusher Blow, Sky Mirror, and Wicked Wolf Sweep in Link. Unlike the normal style version, Twin Blade Wolf 2 can use skills that aren't learned yet. Wolf Heart. At battle start, stack Wolf Heart based on user's level, max level 9 and a max stack of 4. This is not 90 divided by 4. This is max level of 90 you can stack 4. With Wolf Heart stacked, normal attack changes to Twin Blade Wolf 2. On Valor Chant, stack 1 Wolf Heart. Unlike Sesta's normal style, Twin Blade Wolf 2's uses are limited, but you can restock. Now, here is our little handy-dandy guide, and I'll go ahead and give you a chance to screenshot this. Okay, got it? I'm just gonna... This will show you the differences between Twin Blade Wolf from Fenrir, the normal style, and Vanagander, another style. I'm just going to focus for the purposes of this on the another style over on the left column there. So these are the effects on the abilities, which are over on the far left column. So on Wolf Heart, consume Wolf Heart stacked at battle start based on user's level, and restack Wolf Heart when using Valor Chant. For Wolf's Awakening, user gains increased damage against weak point until turn end. Inflict exposed wind on all enemies. And after, wind type slash attack on all enemies times 2. XL strength times 2. Inflict poison and pain in Link. Fajin slash attack on a single enemy. This is actually the same across both, but slash attack on a single enemy. Medium strength times 8. And ignore target defenses and inflict elemental break. Wind, 3 stacks. Wind type slash attack on all enemies times 5. L strength times 8. And wind type resistance minus 100% for 3 turns. User's physical damage increased based on max MP value and critical damage plus 100% for 3 turns. And for Wicked Wolf Sweep, wind type slash attack on all enemies times 2, XL strength times 30, guaranteed critical, ignore target defenses. There you have it. Number 3. Her stellar skill has become simpler to use. There's no reason to hold on to it. You don't have to save it. Use it when you can. Stellar skill plus Wolf Heart Release. User gains overcritical and enters Shadow Wolf for 5 turns. Enter in Stellar Burst. After activate Twin Blade Wolf 2 in Link, it does not consume Wolfheart. Shadow Wolf mode change uses critical rate plus 100%, power plus 100%, speed plus 100. Additional ability, enhance at battle start. In frontline, user gains first strike for 2 turns. To summarize, as long as her level is raised, you can use the powerful Twin Blade Wolf 2 from the start of battle. Wolfheart stack is required for use. Her party composition options are broad, but since she can inflict exposed wind, I recommend, I being Backy of course, I recommend focusing on wind type allies first and foremost. Leave the buffs that Twin Blade Wolf used to provide to allies, and let Sesta focus on overcritical and Shadow Wolf mode change. In Stellar Burst, Twin Blade Wolf 2 does not consume Wolfheart stacks, and with her additional ability, she can act preemptively at battle start. When Stellar Awakened in level 90, she can use the maximum number of Twin Blade Wolf 2. Recommended allies to pair with Sesta, Melpifia. I think a lot of people in here were talking about Melpifia once Sesta was revealed. Melody AS, Thornbound Witch Shani, and Mistrare AS. Thoughts? What do you think of Sesta's new abilities? You know, one of these days I'll actually be able to hear you all, you know, at some point. Sometimes I go on for a long time and I pose a question to the crowd, and then I realize, oh right, I'm alone in a room. Just hear I see chat scrolling up as my feedback. But thank you very much for all of your feedback. Please let us know what you think in the comments. With that, let's talk a little bit, while we're still on the subject of characters, let's see what characters you can get in encounters. So for our first encounter, a 3x max Fateful encounter, another style Vanagandra. A Sesta AS appears at a rate of 10% on the 10th encounter, and as a pickup bonus, Sesta AS appears Stellar Awakened. Encounter after Stellar Awakening to receive an additional 10 shadow points. Most of these, I believe, are going to be from the version 3.9.1 update until November 3rd, 2:59 p.m. UTC. Then we're going to have a 3x max Fateful encounter, Comrade's Call, Vortex Edition. You can encounter one of the 5-star characters listed below on the 10th encounter. So we actually have a list here for you. Sesta, another style, Yakumo, another style, Alma, another style, Orlea, another style, Sesta, normal style, Mariel, extra style, Noble Blossom, Tsukiha, Claude, extra style, Lele, another style, Miyu, extra style. Same date range there. And then 3x max Fateful encounter, Windblade Dance Edition. You can encounter the following 5 class characters at a 10% encounter rate each on the 10th encounter. Melpifia, Booming Blade Akane, Melody, another style, Claude, extra style, Kilkale, Mistrari, another style, Pluma Diana. Same date range there. And when talking about the version updates, once again, everybody, what is the question? The number one question on everybody's mind that you want to know. Release date, when? Yes, of course. We're blazing through this live stream. It's going to be a short but sweet one, but more info on that later. The 3.9.1 update releases October 10th, and once again, as I look at my wrist with no watch on it, that is 2 days from now. It's kind of incredible how much I'm able to understand the relative passing of time just based off of my wrist here. I've been doing it for months. You know, I gotta study that a little bit more. Why is that? To summarize, and once again, we have a very short but sweet summary. Don't worry, there's more stream. There's more to talk about. But as far as this update is concerned, Sesta's another style is arriving, and then also one thing I did not say is that the Astral Archive is getting some additions. 6 tomes related to Main Story Part 2 will be added. quick reminder to everybody as we move right along that the illustration contest is open now. We announced this on our last live stream. Let's go over the rules once again. So Mythos Shadow of Sin and Steel release celebration illustration contest is ongoing. We're looking for Eastern themed illustrations. Post your illustration with the hashtag Another Eastern Mythos. Submission period began on September 19th, and we are accepting submissions through December 1st, 2:59 p.m. UTC. The theme, once again, is the East. Illustrations must be related to the East. Entries other than illustrations will not be considered. So this is not a mixed media contest like in the past. We are only looking for illustrations this time. So please enter those by using the hashtag Another Eastern Mythos. One winner will be awarded the grand prize of an illustration drawn by the Another Eden art team, and 2 more winners will be awarded with an original mat. It's about 50 centimeters by 80 centimeters by an area. We have a couple here of examples just to help get the creative juices flowing, to help with a little bit of inspiration. Some members of the Another Eden art team created some original illustrations. Looking at the first one, this is actually by art team member Yamamoto, who drew El Seal, Thorn-bound Witch Cheney, and other characters. The title of this illustration is, well, someone's relaxed. No doubt referring to our favorite Mochi Fox, who has recently been introduced. Yamamoto says, I'm just such a fan, seriously, thank you. And that, wow, I mean, what an illustration. One other one here. This one is by art team member Yuka Sato, who drew Utpalaka, Ify, and others, titled On the Way Home. And they comment, I hope they will be happy. Wild Child Akane didn't want to put on pants, so it looks like she's wearing a miniskirt here. Just so very wholesome looking. So once again, let me go back up here. Once again, please be sure to submit your illustrations for the contest. Again, the hashtag is Another Eastern Mythos. You can submit up to December 1st, 2:59 p.m. UTC. All right. And now I am going to bring in a special guest who's going to help us parse through some of the localization behind this most recent chapter, the Eastern Mythos. Speaking of Eastern Mythos, and with a particular emphasis and focus on Shigede's extra style, because if you have been playing, you may notice that if you listen at all to the Japanese voice, you might recognize that there is a little bit of a different way of speaking. It's an older form of speaking, and with that comes some unique challenges and obstacles you have to overcome when you are localizing that. And to tell us exactly what that involved, and to take us a little bit behind the scenes, we have our special guest today. He's a finally returning to this program after, I guess, a 2-year hiatus or so. English localization director Justin. Justin, are you with me?
I am here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Let me ask the chat. Can you all hear Justin okay? Getting some confirmation that everybody can hear you just fine. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us. How are you? What have you been up to in the past, I guess, in the past few years since you've been on this program?
Well, mostly localizing the game, and then I work at WFS, so I do all sorts of other things. But mostly working on another Eden, and I'm really excited about the new Mythos, and really excited to talk about some localization stuff with people because I don't really get a chance to do that in public. And I think there are a lot of people out there who have an interest in localization, so hopefully this will be entertaining for everybody, even though it's going to be a bit inside baseball, as they say.
Entertaining, hopefully enlightening. I'll tell you, I'm a fan of inside baseball type of conversations with all sorts of subjects. So I'm sure many of many of our viewers now will be equally as interested in this. With that, let me just go ahead and ask you then. Can you give me just a general overview as we get started of what it was like to work specifically on this and how it might be different or unique from your just regular localization work with past content?
Yeah, it's the thing about Another Eden is that when you get a new quest or you get a new piece of content, you never know which version of Another Eden is going to show up. Is it the cool, like, manly kind of like sort of quest where there's like butt rock and motorcycles and all sorts of things, or if it's going to be something really just goofy and crazy or something else. So when we heard about the Eastern Mythos and kind of how it was centered around this war that's happening on the Eastern continent, I was intrigued. I was intrigued, and then when we started working on it, to see how it not only is it very serious, but it deals with some pretty heavy concepts. It's kind of refreshing after, coming hot off of like a Milpifia character quest or something like that.
You can kind of get a sense for speaking of inside baseball, when you look inside like the storage drives for the game and you see what music is being, there are certain musical cues that tell you exactly how the tone of some of the content is. For sure. And I'm just imagining all of the music for some reason was the first thing that came to my mind when you talk about how different in tone some of the quests and episodes are. So why don't we do this? I have a video of the English version and the Japanese version of some that will demonstrate some of Shigure's lines in particular. We're going to actually speak and focus on the character Shigure for the purposes of this. So in order to kind of give a little bit of an introduction to the topic today for everybody in chat, I'll go ahead and play those two videos so that we can kind of get an idea of what the Japanese version was like and how that was localized. And then when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more specifically about what we hear in the video. So I'm going to go ahead and play that now. We'll be right back.
いざいざかぶいてゆこうぞ。せいとやっ手直せ。さてシアウトするか。虎の送信食らうがいい。とやっはっ 遠からんものは音に聞け、近くばよって目にも見よ。我こそは無限が三君、しぐれんなり。土地に習いに穴地に生え、去りし後には風神のみなれば、この人たちで起こすはおごとの風よ。一点視界に吹けや随風。八千代の咎と末路わぬ刃。アナザーエデン、時空を超える猫。
Hey! Let's get this party started. Train harder! I like a good fight to the death. I'm gonna cut you to pieces. All right, listen up. And if you're too far to hear, come in near. Cause the Fugan Tiger himself, Shigure, is here. The winds may flow on a wind all their own, but they all blow towards the point of my sword, and with them carry fortune as fierce as it is bold. Shadow of Sin and Steel. Another Eden, the cat beyond time and space.
All right, and we're back. So I think what we're gonna do now is do a little bit of a reading. You know me. For anybody who in the chat who watches this regularly, I'm always angling for a voice acting job in any way I can. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a reading of what we just heard right now, and then we'll, if you'll bear with me, and then we'll kind of dissect it, if that's okay. Are we still? Do I still have you, Justin?
Oh yeah. Sorry, you were talking to me. I think you were talking to chat.
Oh no. Yeah. I don't need chat's permission. I'm just kidding. I love you guys. Don't. Okay. Let's. All right. Let me try and put on my dramatic voice here. I hope I don't mess this up. こちに習いに穴地に生え、去りし後には風神のみ。なればこの人たちで起こすは夜ごとの風を。一点視界に吹けや随風。Scene. There we go.
Very good.
Thank you. So
can't wait for your debut at the Kabuki theater.
Look, I'll be at the Tokyo No Theater. Everybody, please. Look, if the English side is not going to hear my calls for voice acting, I'm gonna have to start pleading my case to the Japan side.
So funny you say that, because, and I'm sorry, we're gonna do a little side, a little detour here. I actually wrote a sub quest for some guy. They deemed it as too meta, so it never. I was like, just put it in there as like a April Fool's quest. Basically, what it was is that Aldo goes up to talk to some guy, but some guy is in love with another NPC who walks around, but he's stuck in one place, and he can't go see her and talk to her and confess his love. So Aldo's idea is to have some guy join his party, and if he joins the party, he can move around. And then he walks over to the girl. They fall in love. There's a battle, it was a fun quest, but unfortunately, it's fanfic at this point.
Well, it's canon in my head, at least. Now, we don't need to get people to sign a petition or anything. Let's not try to encourage that. So let's break down a little bit of after that breaking exclusive news, to break down a little bit of the Japanese that we just heard. As you can see with the little highlighted text here for anybody who can read Japanese, but we also have put some romaji under it. That is the symbol for wind, for anybody not familiar, but the only two readings I'm familiar with are the fifth and sixth one here, fu and kaze. There are so many other readings of this, and I have to imagine that this is not the only time you encountered this kind of challenge, I guess, when localizing this into English. Can you tell me, I guess, to put the question super vaguely, like, what's up with that, man?
So actually, the Mythos quest itself didn't have a lot of this, and weirdly enough, so when we translate voice scripts for this game, when there is a kanji, a Japanese character that is using a uncommon reading, they'll put the reading in parentheses, so that voice actors, when they read the lines in Japanese, don't trip over the words, or they don't read it the wrong way, so on and so forth. And in most cases, we don't actually ever have those in the script. It's very rare. There are some characters who will have one here and there if they're using sort of like older Japanese in their script, but usually it's like one or two lines that might have it. With this version of Shigure, almost every single line had multiple reading notes, and so this is just one example, but there were so many in this voice script, and I'm like, really, Shigure? But yeah, in this case, so you've got four different winds, the northern, the southern, the western, and the eastern, and they all have different names. And so that's kind of how I'll get into the more detailed version of this in a second. But the way to kind of look at this is that it's not like you're seeing different pronunciations of the word wind, kaze, fu. In normal Japanese, there really are only two-ish readings. But these are actually the names of specific winds. And they're not used in normal Japanese these days, but what these are archaic readings of kanji that the characters themselves are still used today, but the readings kind of, much like with English, hundreds of years or so, the way we say things changes, the way we read things change. But in this case, these versions of the different winds, they're still used in haiku today. And so the thing about haiku is that you have to include some sort of seasonal word. And these different kinds of winds are associated with seasons. So like the eastern wind, kochi higashikaze, is a spring seasonal word. So if you were to write a haiku about how you were swimming in the pool with your buds and then an eastern wind came in, it would be like it would be super weird, because people would be like, what do you mean? It's the summer. Why would an eastern wind come in? Like, these are things that Japanese people just know. So it's really tough for someone who's American who doesn't know about the different winds and stuff like that. But this is part of why you study Japanese. But in this case, you're seeing archaic readings, poetic readings, and a lot of the lines for Shigure ES this time kind of leaned heavily on the kind of haiku language, archaic Japanese, which unfortunately wouldn't come across in English unless we had him talking like Ava. But it would be super weird for Shigure to be talking like Ava all of a sudden. But in the Japanese, it goes along with this kind of aesthetic that he has now, which is very much like a kind of a kabuki aesthetic, like a party guy from the Edo period, almost in a way. And his Japanese lines kind of match that.
A historical bro, exactly. As it were. Shigure, I kind of echo your sentiment here. Like, he is. It is interesting that this is not you don't imagine him speaking this way and then suddenly being. I don't know if it'd be analogous to becoming Shakespearean almost, or like, speaking in that kind of poetic device. But we do have here. I want to get your. We want to kind of use this next slide as a way of kind of understanding, like, how are we going to draw meaning in English out of this? Because, as you said, it's very difficult for somebody who speaks Japanese as a second language. They don't inherently have a sense for a lot of the subtextual, like, meanings behind Eastern Wind, Northern Wind, and many things like this. And so obviously, if you were just to put a translator, just writing word for word, we actually have here what that would look like, and it doesn't quite get the meaning across.
And there's actually two things here that are really kind of like a problem when you're ever trying to localize Japanese into English. Like, typically Japanese can say a lot more with fewer words than English, and this goes back to the fact that Japanese is what is called a high context language, meaning that it provides little details and meaning is assigned to it by the context. And English is a low context language, which tries to basically to provide meaning. You have to be as detailed as possible. So if language is a spectrum in terms of like how much context you need to get your point across, English and Japanese are as far as you can get in terms of that sort of thing. And so when you translate Japanese, which as a language inherently is way more poetic than English is, then you compound that by the fact that you're using actual poetic language of Japanese. You're fitting tons of information in very short lines, and then when you try to translate that literally, like you're saying in this machine translation, you can get the information in the text, but you don't really know exactly why they would talk about the different winds. It's also super long. Another thing about localization is that we don't have infinite space. We don't have infinite time to put our translations into the game. And especially with voices, you have a very specific amount of time. And so if we were to put this kind of thing in the video you just saw, his ES attack, he would have to pretty much talk like the Micro Machines guys. I'm kind of dating myself here, but you'd have to talk really fast to get it all in there. And that's not cool. It doesn't really kind of, first of all, Shigure is not that kind of guy. He's not a fast talker. He's a dude. And so it would be weird. And it just doesn't, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It just doesn't really sound cool when it's all written out and it's all, overly explainy, I guess I should say. And this is what in localization we call, it sounds too translated, which means like you looked in the dictionary and these are what the words mean. You put it on the page. You've got the individual parts right, but the meaning isn't there anymore. So it just sounds like you've translated it. So in these cases, we have to localize things. That said, so when I look at this, I'm like, even I, who has been doing this for a long time, who's speaks a lot of Japanese all day, every day, I'm still kind of like, what is he trying to say here? So in times like this, we are lucky in that, I've worked on what we call a vendor, someone who translates other companies' games, and I've also, but now I work here at WFS, and one of the great benefits of being on the same team as the development team is that you can just go over and be like, hey, what did you mean by this? And so that's kind of what I did here. I think that's the next slide.
Yeah, I'll hop right over to here with a quote from the scenario team. Having spoken to the scenario team, I don't know if you want to tell us, how did you went over there, had a conversation, and what did they tell you?
Yeah, and so basically how it's written here is like the wind is often spoken as a symbol of fluidity, unpredictability, and in this line, the fickle nature of wind, which contains both good and bad things, is incorporated as a nuance. The overall meaning of the line is the wind is fickle wherever it blows, from east to west, north to south, but I will create a good wind. So in essence, it's like there's all this chaos, and Shigure, who is now in his ES form, is powerful enough to command that chaos and bring about things that are good. And so that's the kind of what I like to call the nugget of meaning. And when you understand that, you can just take that as your basis and rewrite the English.
And you did rewrite it, and we have what the final product of that is here. And if you don't mind, I'll once again try to do my best to vie for a voice acting gig and read this. The winds may flow on a whim all their own, but they all blow towards the point of my sword, and with them carry fortune as fierce as and I just lost my job, as it is bold. So yeah, we obviously, as you were saying, one of your goals is not to machine translate and just put word for word, because that's not helpful to anybody. That's what you're trying to do here, is convey the meaning, the essence of, and give the audience, I guess, the same feeling. I suppose, is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. Like, essentially, we want to convey the meaning, and we may lose some of the language that the Japanese was using, but the point is that when you hear it, it sounds cool. It sounds like Shigure, and yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, that is really cool. Thank you so much, Justin, for all your time today, for walking us through all of this. I hope chat can help me in thanking Justin. I'm gonna assume, once again, I talked before about it's kind of hard to do this when you actually can't hear chat. I'm gonna assume that everybody is audibly clapping for as a thanks, a show of appreciation. Justin, thank you so much for your time today.
No problem. Just one thing before I go.
Sure.
Sesta AS was announced today. One thing about AS characters is we like to try and incorporate some sort of growth into their voice lines. There is one line that shows a little bit of growth. If people who are nice enough to have their voice settings set to English, hopefully you'll notice that line. It's not a mistake. It's there on purpose. But I'll just leave that with you guys. Good luck with all your pulls, and hopefully we can do this again sometime soon.
Actually, before we go, I do actually have one more question while we're getting on to non-Shigure thing. But it's been years, and I hate to be somebody that brings up old controversies. But I just wanted to see if you had any thoughts. I still today have seen people, the Nekoko with a K crowd, refuses to accept the truth of Nekoko with a C. I wonder if there's anything you would like to say to those who are still holding on to their Nekoko with a K beliefs.
I say keep waiting, friends. No, that sounds like I'm teasing something. I'm not teasing anything. What I mean is that Nekoko is here to stay. She's got 2 C's, and she's always a cutie to me. I don't know. Anyways, Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, Nikoko, the Nikoko is spelled with C's, and she will always be spelled with C's. Yeah.
Well, there you have it. The conversation. That conversation is. I believe the chapter on that is closed. It's Nikoko with a C. Canon lore. No takesies backsies. Thank you once again for your time today.
Yeah, no problem.
All right. Take care.
See you guys.
All right. Appreciate Justin so much for the time. Let's move on here. We are wrapping up. Once again, a bit of a short one today. Actually, we're getting close to an hour. It wasn't all that short, I guess. But we're going to be back very, very soon. The next another Eden live stream will be October 22nd, 2024. That's exactly 2 weeks from today. So we will be with you very, very soon. And before we get out of here, this is all we have today, but I just want to leave you with a little bit of a tease based off of our new character announcement today. If you play through Sesta AS's character quest, you'll be able to see Aldo and Nona appear in some special outfits. So be sure you check those out as you go through. I can't put my finger on where I've seen this get up for Aldo before. Maybe you can let me know in the chat. Maybe you can help jog my memory. But in any case, thank you all so much for being here. That's it for this edition of Another Eden Live. Well, as I said, once again, we will be back on October 22nd with another live stream. Another Eden Live. And I'm looking forward to that, as I look forward to all of these. Thank you so much, everybody in the chat, for being here. Thank you once again to English Localization Director Justin for all of the insight of the localization of the Eastern mythos. And just thanks, generally. Have a great day, everyone. Be kind. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.